Remnant of the Ashes. Remnant of the Ashes, the Souls-like third-person shooter from 2 years ago that's coming to PS Plus free this month. If you were to ask me how I felt about this game, I'd say it's an excellent game with excellent controls, builds, enemies, world design, and boss design. It's easily a solid 7 or 8 out of 10. I could even probably make a whole video about why I like the game and how it stands out from every other Souls-like if I really wanted to. But now I'm sure you're wondering why I stopped at a 7 or 8. I mean, unless you looked at the title of the video. Well, if you played or beat Remnant, then I'm assuming you know its main hook. The areas, loot, side quests, and bosses you get will be randomized, except for a few key things. This makes it so no two playthroughs are exactly the same in this game. But you might be like me and thinking, wow, that sounds absolutely incredible! A Souls-like with randomly generated levels and bosses? That sounds like heat! And it is, to an extent, and possibly to a fault. This game's RNG adds a ton of variety and replayability, as you'll find new bosses and loot that you definitely couldn't have seen your first time through, which makes it so you'll get excited to see new things all the time in this game. Hell, I'm 66 hours in and I still haven't found everything in this game yet. But like many games, it's fun until you play it enough and then the awe wears off and you want to try to do certain things. As like a Souls game, this is an RPG. And like a Souls game, after enough time of playing it, you're most likely going to want a certain item or to make a certain build, or something of that sort. And in this way, there's a lot of ways this game will just hoe you out of things. Let me give you a prime example. Okay, so you've just beat the game. Congratulations, good for you. But now, you want to find a certain boss that you couldn't find the first time. So, you reroll, you get the same boss you got the first time. Reroll again, same boss again. Now you're just wasting your time because the game decides it doesn't want to give you the other boss you want to fight. This is just a small example of RNG being a prick, but it's a bit childish, so let me give you a more serious example. You've just seen a build on YouTube and you're really excited and you really want to try it out. Now if this was Dark Souls, after you look up a video on where to find your item, you just go and pick it up. But in Remnant, due to everything being RNG, you might have to reroll countless times to get one item for your build. If it's an outfit, you might have to reroll just a few times, but if it's a ring or an amulet, since they don't block getting duplicate items in this game, along with the fact that rings are some of the most randomized items in this game, you're at the RNG's mercy if they decide if they want to give you what you're looking for. Now someone might go like, I mean, that's okay. It's made for you to casually go through it without googling stuff like builds or how to do certain things. It's all about your adventure. And that was what I thought too, until you get the puzzles and alternate kills. Now for those unaware, which I wouldn't blame you as this game won't inform you about this, alternate kills are when you kill a boss in a specific different way to get a different reward from the norm. What does this have to do with RNG and why are these irritating? Let's take a look at good old Brabus here. Now Brabus has 2 alternate kills. No other boss has 2 alternate kills, and neither of which you'd have any way of knowing about in hindsight. For the first, you'd have to be playing in co-op, which, like I said, you'd have no way of knowing this, but the first one isn't the example I'm going to be giving. The second one. Now the second one's the real problem. Now for a second alternate kill, first you'll need to get Brabus to spawn and then this crazy old man to spawn, so you can get this pendant from him when you exhaust all of his dialogue, which he has a lot of. Now this can be aggravating as once you figure out you need to get his pendant, which you probably won't know normally, so through Google you'll figure this out, there's a chance you'll reroll multiple times not to get the old man or Brabus at all, which technically you need both of them. As an example, to put this into perspective, at the time of writing this I had 66 hours of this game played. Now I think it's something like 90. And in those 90 hours I've played, I had only gotten Brabus 1 time. And in that 1 time, I had the misfortune of the old man just not spawning. Luckily for me, I managed to get the pendant from the old man in a previous roll, and those carry over to new rolls, so eventually Brabus showed up again and I was able to give it to him. Now to me, I think that's an excellent example on how this game's RNG can be irritating, but
not convinced.
This is the mod Iron Sentinel. Looks very cool, right? You might be asking, but however in the 9 realms would you obtain this Iron Sentinel? Well, first you need to find this guy sitting with his dog. What's that? He didn't show up. Well, your fucks got really. Okay, now you got the dog man to spawn. Excellent. Oh wait, what's that? You said this is your first time and you didn't know you had to walk to the front to find a little statue that's stuck in the dirt? Shit, guess you gotta re-roll again. Alright, excellent. You've looked it up and now you know exactly what you have to do. Dog Eye's there and everything. The wiki told you all you have to do is kill some dog boss. That sounds easy, Now you just need to go out and find this Houndmaster guy. Huh? He's not there? I think you know what I'm gonna tell you now, don't you? Do you see what I mean by this being a little bit annoying? And I bet someone's there like, okay, but for Brabus, you said you just got the item and did. So I killed the Houndmaster. I'm gonna stop you right there, Chief. Did you know you had to headshot the Houndmaster guy when you killed him? Because other— Yeah, shut up. I knew that. I knew you had to get the ultimate kill with the headshot. I knew that. Shut up. Okay, so I got the control rod from the Houndmaster, but the normal dog dude and the dog aren't there, so, you know, I'll do what you said last time. I'll just bring the item— Nope! You idiot. It doesn't transfer over. You know what that means? You have to get both of these characters to spawn at the exact same time, or guess what you have to do? You guessed it! You gotta reroll, you big stupid idiot! Do you see what I mean by this being a little bit ludicrous? Let me give you one more example just to prove my point. You were the first of your friends to find Haro. Good for you. You beat him regularly, but you're curious if this boss has an alternate kill, which not all bosses have, mind you. But you don't want to use the internet. For the sake of keeping this part relatively short, I'm gonna say you're really smart and you think there's something strange about all the things that are sticking out of his back. So you run up to his back, you press some buttons, nothing. You fiddle around with all these insane ways of beating him, from shooting him in the back, to hitting him in the head so he flinches or something, nothing. Nothing is happening. And you just assume there isn't an alternate kill.
その私の勇姿、それはあなたの間違っているところです。だから、あなたは愚か者と知らない。
So anyways, to get Haro's ultimate kill, you have to shoot him in the knees and he'll stagger a few times before he finally falls down for real, and you have to pull a spear from his back. Not shoot him a few times in the knee, mind you. Shoot him and make him stagger a few times. Now, you're probably thinking, Em, you haven't done your research. Why don't you just give us a number? There isn't a number. The wiki itself does not know how many times you have to stagger this thing before it actually falls down. Now, I actually want you to look at this thing. Nothing about its design indicates that you'd have to shoot his knees. If anything, you would think to shoot his back, and no one mentions you hitting him in the legs, so why on earth would you try to shoot him in the legs? Let alone, this thing doesn't exactly have Chun-Li thunder thighs, so why would you try to aim for his little wonky leg hitbox when he has this potato upper body, which is way easier to connect with and to do damage to? It's nonsensical some of the ways these bosses and areas are designed. It's design choices like that that make me unsure on how they want you to actually play this game. I'm leaning towards more they only want you to Google a few things but not look up everything, which I feel like is counterintuitive. I can think of plenty more examples of weird choices like this, like the Ravenger's Bells, Sinja's tail taking like half of his health bar of shots before it breaks, or nothing happens, having to wear a specific mask to talk to a tree that might not even spawn altogether, and for the tree, to talk to the tree, you need to have a mask from a guy who doesn't spawn sometimes, and then you have to shoot him because he won't give it to you. There's a lot of annoying things like that in this game that you'll just have to deal with. Well, this is the section of the video where I try to provide a solution to these problems if they were to make a sequel. Well, for the bosses, please make alternate kills a little bit more practical. If not, give a little bit more subtle hints or nods in the boss's design or through the level that they have one. So the gamer who doesn't look up everything doesn't have to waste his time figuring out if one of the 24 bosses in this game has one. Also, if they could make it so that when one part of the alternate kill spawns, the other part does, that would be great. So we'd avoid more situations like Iron Sentinel or Brabus and stuff like that. As for the RNG on rings and build items and such, I don't know if they can really fix the outfit idea. As for what they're going for, it's nigh impossible to fix this issue, unless they just block getting duplicates of rings, which I feel like in single player should be a thing. Or at least make it so there are no duplicates of rings in any location where there isn't a preset reward, like for solving a puzzle or something like that. So yeah, I think Remnant's RNG is its biggest strength and weakness. I love this game. It's definitely my favorite Souls-like not made directly from FromSoft. But sometimes it's just a little ridiculous getting the things you want. If you guys feel any different than I do, feel free to leave a comment. I'll always gladly discuss with you guys on any video that I make, and I'm curious if there even are any differing opinions on stuff like this. With that, I've been Em, and I hope to see you next time.